of the host, the hotline host forum. We're waiting for Colin. And we'll see if he's going to be able to make it in for this, but he has a presentation a little bit later, so we're looking at scheduling things. Again, time difference issues, but welcome, Gail. I've been on all morning, so welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yay. And in my last segment, I was doing a mashup of showing some different resources via video and via TED Talks, and well, video, but TED Talks and sketches, and all that good stuff, different things. Showings. I read a poem. Different things to stimulate the creative mind and to show ways of other ways of looking at entrepreneurship. So you were just coming in when you saw the communication, Steven Pinker.
Yeah.
Okay, and and the reason I had shown that was because I thought the way that we communicate as entrepreneurs is, of course, very critical. And so, what did you get out of that? Like, you came in and saw parts of it, from what I understand, but
Yeah. So, just that, it's what I know about innuendo and stuff is that it's, if you do not want to be misunderstood, just say what you mean. And if you aren't sure, that if you're like, if there's a part of you that thinks, well, I should use an innuendo for this, you probably shouldn't be saying whatever you were thinking about saying. And I feel like that's a really great, like, if your brain's going, oh, well, is there like a better way to say this?
Yeah.
Like, then it probably should not come out of your mouth, especially in a realm and within context of interacting with people of other genders, or if you're in leadership roles, and like, yeah. And if you're not sure, phone a friend. And,
Can you just check and see if I'm going to get in trouble if I say this thing that I'm not sure if I should say? So I'm trying to say it in another way.
Yeah.
But communicating, I also had heard about something in terms of communication that people say before you open your mouth, like think before you open your mouth, but words to the wise. Think about, is it giving you, like, why are you saying the thing that you're going to say?
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying it because it helps the other person? Are you saying it because you really have to say it? It's going to cause you, if you don't express yourself, then you're being inauthentic to yourself. You're like, you really, on principle, I saw something bad happen over here. Someone was misbehaving, and I can sit by as a bystander. I can say, hey, that's not cool, dude. Leave her alone. Do I say that because I feel a need to say it? Will it help for me to say it? Or if you're thinking in innuendos because maybe you're not supposed to say it, then why say, then don't. Like, so
Like,
consider it.
if it's not going to benefit all the parties involved, and it isn't going to further whatever goal you have in being together, find something else to say. Like, I mean, obviously that isn't, we're framing this in the entrepreneurial framework and in the business framework. So, you're with your friends, you're at home,
Have at it.
run your mouth. But if you're having, like, and I'll use myself as an example, if we're having a conversation and you spend 15 minutes trying to tell me something, and you tell me in like 10 different ways in 15 minutes, when you really knew exactly what you wanted to say and you could have said it in the first minute.
Yeah.
There's this thing in me that I am I'm ridiculously annoyed. And like, it may be the last conversation we ever have, because I did not have those 15 minutes for you to figure out if you could say the thing you needed to say. And like, personally, I don't, if I'm having trouble saying the thing I need to say, I usually will say, okay, I just hang on 1 second. I really know that I need to tell you whatever this thing is, but I need like 30 seconds to get my head wrapped around it. Can we just pause? And I pause live conversations with people and like, just give me a moment to process, get my words in the right order, and then I can continue with this conversation in a constructive fashion that won't last 45 minutes. So yeah, I feel like, and in all of that, like some of it is, I think most miscommunications happen when people don't actually say what they mean.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and they don't, if they're using innuendo, if they're like, using societal accepted norms of communication, like that doesn't, just because society says it's okay or that this is how we're supposed to talk to each other, doesn't actually mean that it's constructive and acknowledges the other person as a human being, and that like that is the way we need to communicate with each other, which is how I endeavor to communicate with everyone.
Sounds like a good practice.
Soapbox done.
Sorry?
Soapbox done. I'm stepping off my soapbox now.
Yeah, no, I think it's important in thinking about how you're going out and talking about your business, or how you are looking for partners, and whether you're trying to get new customers or clients, or if you are working for people to work with you or whatever. But this idea of being, clarity is the red thread. And so if you want somebody to do what you want them to do, like you said, you can't make them do it. You can't expect that they will do it, but you can be sure if you don't ask them to do it, that it is not, it is a disservice for you to expect them to know that that's what you want them to do.
Right. And this is like at every level. So it's like if I want my kids to do a specific thing, let's use the small humans for example, I know, and that each of them hears things differently. So there's processing disorders, there's all sorts of different things, and then there's a teenager disorder, and like all the things that are are happening, and at each level with each of them, I can say that I can want them all to do the same thing. But if I don't communicate with them in the way that they are able to hear, understand, learn, and then act, then the thing I need them to do isn't going to happen. And in my house, for each of them, it's different. And it's a different order. And so I think when we're thinking about communicating, and this part's pretty high level, but if you have an understanding of the other person, of how they think, of how they learn, and how they are like able to receive communication, and you've had other experiences with them, then it is, if you need them to do something, the onus is on you to communicate clearly, and then to check in with them and make sure that they're able to repeat it back to you, that they're able to clearly articulate that they understand what you're asking, and that they're capable of doing it. The other part is asking someone to do something that they're not capable of doing isn't fair to them, isn't fair to you, and is going to lead to so much heartache. And it doesn't matter what it is. If it's emptying the dishwasher, if it's getting that report ready, if it's like pretty much anything. Anyways, I'll again get off my soapbox. Obviously, this is really important to me.
Yes, but that makes sense. And what dawned on me was, as you were saying it, I was thinking, structurally, oh yes, then this would be a good thing to share with people who are looking to outsource work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to, I mean, think of it like Gail thinks about her kids, and who are you working with, and and is the person you want to outsource the work to capable of even doing the thing you're asking of them? Is it within reason to embark upon this relationship with them? Are you able to articulate what you want, need, and in the time frame that you need it?
Right.
What are the ways that you like to be communicated with? So that's also, what avenues of communication, as we know, like just from doing this,
right,
everybody has their preference for productivity or processing or social media, even, like, so if your natural favorite tool is A and mine is B, if you aren't able to use B and I'm not able to use A, then we have to find some sort of middle ground. If, we both like A and one doesn't like B, then we should probably go with A, or vice versa, B, and figure out what's the smooth to make it more effortless, to make it more smooth.
Right.
But structurally speaking, like it is like basically you're giving them a script, you're giving them when you're doing again, the Danish is now back. Drejebog. Drejebog. I figure if I say it a couple times in Danish, the English will pop into my mouth. A drejebog. Yes, that is a storyboard. A storyboard. Yeah. Drej. A drejebog, like a wheel of like the book of like showing the work. What's your drej? Yeah. Yes.
You're like, what? It'll happen.
You're like, yeah. So there you go. If you can break it down, and the thing about that, while I think a lot of us want to jump, not a lot of us, not being you, because that is your business. That's what you do in part, right? But a lot of us don't realize that. And that's why people like you need to train us so that you can say, like, the joy of, hey, this is what I need to do my job. So when you're telling me to, as an example from yesterday, when you were speaking with Brandy, and at one point, when I was doing the transcriptions and you were talking about the protocol or the formatting, right? So if you and I have an agreement, if you're saying, hey, I can do that, I would love to help organize your files, but you just can't, send me a whole bunch of, you just can't fire hose me with a whole bunch of crazy, now I'm gonna, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. How people have you ever had a conversation with someone who is like mixing everything up? Well, for the first thing, I'd like to say, and A, I would like to, and
in my head, what happens is, like, I'm looking at it as an outline as a writer.
Exactly.
So like if you start with 1, then 1 is the top level, and then A, B, and C are subheadings
of 1 of 1, right?
1, and then
I know.
Wait, no, okay, hold on. That's not what you actually meant. Which I do that in I do that in real life conversations too. I'll be like, okay, hold on, wait. You just switch timelines and you switch characters. So back up. Tell me what actually happened with this one. Is it related to this? And and I think that's where I'm going to brag a little bit. I think people enjoy talking to me because I'm willing to sit there. I'm willing to sit there and actually, like, I'm interested in what they're saying. And not only do I want to hear them and, like, let them know they're being heard, I also truly want to understand what they're telling me.
Yes.
And I want to learn it because I'm excited about learning. And so I also have moments where I'm like, I tell them exactly where I'm at mentally. I really want, like, what's an example? I really want to understand and process and learn and retain what you're about to tell me, because I can tell you're really excited and it's really important to you, but I need you to know that right now I will not be able to do that. I will not be able to enjoy this moment with you. I absolutely can listen to you, but I am not going to hear a word you say, and I'm not going to be able to tell you later or have a discussion about it. So if you need to continue telling me the thing, that is fine, but recognize that I'm not going to retain any of this, and we will have this conversation again in 3 days when you're excited again. And then I, like, let whoever the person is decide if they want to continue the conversation or not. And sometimes they don't, which is wonderful, because then 3 days later I can be like, hey, remember that thing you were really excited about? I'm ready now. I can hear it. I can, like, accept it, and let's talk about it, because now I can be excited for you.
And I think that makes sense, Gail, because you're making it clear where you're at, and you're making it not about, like, so some people might take that and be offended, right? So people would start to talk to you, and then if you, depending on how you deliver it, right, it's like, I'm busy, like,
right,
what, or there are things there are ways that we communicate that clearly state what you just did, not so clearly, right? It's
right.
It's like the talk that we had earlier about it's not actually, when I say the talk that we had earlier, I mean that the Entrepreneur Hotline had on its show, and that was with Dr. Chris, and he was saying the quote that I believe you probably also know, familiar with, and that is, people don't remember what you say, they remember how you make them feel.
Right.
And that is important. And if you are saying what you not clearly saying, hey, this is where I'm at right now, it's not about that I don't think your thing is interesting, it's not that I don't care about you, it's that I just don't have the capacity right now. And so I think, of course, then people feel, well, as somebody who talks to you, yes, I can appreciate that. I am not that way. As we know.
It's something I had to learn, because it was, and this again, it goes back to this kid thing. When you're raising a kid whose intellect and who consistently makes you feel like you don't know anything, and then the knowledge you have of the world is like this big, and that, like, on a daily basis, because I get asked questions multiple times a day about things I can't remember, I can't retain, or I know I learned something at one point, but I can't remember what it is because it wasn't important enough or relevant for me to file it. And then it's like, but this person I've created, or that we've created, is really excited about this thing, and I just do not have the capacity to figure out what's going on right now. So that is really where that skill, like Brandy was talking about skills yesterday or the day before. Oh man, they're running together.
No, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, right? No, Jenny was yesterday. Brandy was the day before, right?
Oh, it's because I was transcribing. For me, it was yesterday.
But yeah. But so like from the time they were like 5, like, because they were crushed. Just crushed. If I would say, like, what now, or what do you need, or I'm busy, or I can't do this right now. So I wanted them to know I loved them, and that it wasn't that I didn't love them, but like, how can I express this to a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old in a way that they're instantly going to get it? Like, that I don't have to take 30 minutes to explain it. So pretty much everything I do in my communications and in my writing and how I interact with clients, spoiler alert, I learned it from parenting small humans that are like somewhat like, that are just wicked. Which is why my kids are so cool, because like, now they go out into the world and that's how they interact with people, because they know that they feel good when mom acknowledges them as a person and then follows up with this. So like, their interactions with people, it's been really fun to watch. So that was a lot about me. But communications, how we communicate with people, it's that feeling part is really important, because I think that's part of the reason why I have clients that come back to me years later. And, I have people that are still interacting with me that, either they outgrew me, which I'm really excited for, or I outgrew them. And, they went on to do something else. I went on to do something else, and we're still connected and still talking to each other. Now, that's not every client, but many of them, which I think, I think that's really cool. So if you're curious about communicating with people, I do a lot of writing about that over on the Legacy Recorder. So plug myself. Article, there's like 100 articles now of how to start conversations and how to talk to people about hard stuff.
About hard stuff. Yeah, that's you as the legacy lady, correct?
Yes, me as the legacy lady.
Yes. Right. One of your many monikers, right?
My many monikers, all the things.
Yes. Is that where the articles?
It's on the legacyrecorder.com.
Okay. Yes. May as well put that in there.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think we have the answer to our question whether Colin is coming or not.
He's got 3 minutes.
Yes. The segment ends.
The segment ends.
Yes. But anyway, so Gail's at the Legacy Recorder, and what the Legacy Recorder is about is
Gail knows this.
Gail knows what she does.
I know what I do. Well, I've changed it so many times over like 4 years. Not changed, but so I think now I'm into the core of what I'm doing. So it's
Cool.
training people on how to work with the people they love, care for, and serve to help them tell their life stories. And that is the that's the action. And then the thing that comes from that is that your storytellers and your staff people and your family members, there's this human dignity component that comes back, and your interactions will change. And there's just this whole wonderful, beautiful thing that happens when we intentionally talk to each other and ask about our lives.
Yes. Very good. Very good there.
Thank you.
So, oh my goodness, I think that my brain is, I've also consumed so much information today, specifically because I've been going back. I'm giving you some insider information, just going back and doing some editing, going back and curating some of the talks. So we've been transcribing the talks, and we're putting it together as we spoke about throughout this week. So until tomorrow at 6 o'clock, have at it. We're giving you all of this stuff away for free, and encouraging you to share and take it in. It is our gift during Global Entrepreneurship Week, and it will remain out there. So it's not like, oh, it's all going in the vault and we're going to hold on to it. We're putting it out there. But if you don't have the 100 and whatever hours that Gail and I have been spending sitting here talking to you, we understand. We have an answer for you. We have a fix. So in the interest of time, we will cull the content, and we will put together basic, more than a highlight reel, a vision, a continuation of the vision, a product of all the different aspects of what the Entrepreneur Hotline is, and how we will be moving forward with it, and how you can get your best return for where you're at, and for what you're interested in, like investing in, I guess, time, energy, and money. So that's basically the plug on the Entrepreneur Hotline. Maybe I'll put that up.
I was going to say, and where can they do that?
And where can they do that? They can do that.
And if you want to get information on it, so Lori's going to put the website in, but it's the entrepreneurhotline.com, and make sure you registers, which is just putting in your name and email, so that you will get notified when these curated things are available.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are actually on there, we will connect with you. Obviously, there are those of you who have signed up, and thank you for doing that. And many of you are consuming the content on other channels, third-party channels, and that's cool. We hope you still continue to do that. But we're just saying that in having this conversation about communication, you have to be able to communicate. So we need to connect with you.
Yes.
We need to connect. So we hope that you connect with us, and that will be helpful to everyone.
So shall we close out this segment?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're finished with this, and we're going to go over. It could be that Colin's live in another channel, for all I know.
We'll go figure it out. So we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Bye.